Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Watch Replays of Phantasmagoria Flower View. So, yeah, that's gonna be a thing. Let's get over here to the replay menu. I actually found the first replay that I'm gonna show you, which is this one right here. This was the first time that I ever beat this game on normal mode, and this is gonna look really weird to me because, actually, I've been playing this game on Lunatic lately, and compared to Lunatic, the bullets are going to look like they're moving really slowly. But anyway, this is what the game looks like. I'm not actually playing right now. This is just the video of me playing in the past, and I am on the left. So I'm playing as Marisa, who is a witch, and I really like playing as Marisa for a couple of reasons. Now, all of the characters in this game have different stats. You may have noticed on the character screen that I showed off in that one video that I posted a while ago. How the hell did I take a hit there? Oh my god, this is like so slow. Gosh, I was bad at this game in November. It's like crazy. I actually don't remember when this was recorded. But yeah, you may remember during the character select screen that all of the characters had different stats in a whole bunch of categories. Like they have a movement speed, they have a focused speed, they have a scope style. So I guess the first thing, kind of the most important thing to explain, is movement that's unfocused versus movement that's focused. So like unfocused movement is just moving kind of regularly, but if you press the shift key and hold it down, you'll go into focus mode, where you slow down a bit, and you can also see your character's hitbox, which is very important to know about Touhou, is that your character's hitbox is only like the center of their sprite. So you will see a lot of close calls that actually aren't quite as close as you'd think. Not only does the bullet have to hit your hitbox, the hitbox of the bullet has to hit your hitbox. And oftentimes with really big bullets like these note things that Lyrica is throwing at me, the hitbox is actually pretty much like a lot smaller than the rest of the sprite. So that's one thing that's kind of important. But moving when focused, it slows you down a bit, so you're definitely a lot more control. And the first few stages of this game, basically the first 5 stages all go really quickly, so they're going to go in like a minute each. We're fighting Tay now, who's pretty annoying because every character also has a special ability. And Tay's special ability is a death bomb, which means that when she's down to half a unit of health, because that's the other thing, this game you actually have a health bar. It's the 5 yin-yang orbs that are at the very top of the screen. Basically, getting hit will do a different amount of damage, depending on how long you've gone without taking a hit. And I'm pretty sure the first hit, like, it can't do more than 3 full yin-yang orbs. You pretty much always get 3 hits, basically, and 1 hit will always take you down to half a yin-yang orb. And then you get a clear bonus at the end of every stage, depending on how many half units of health you have left, so it's pretty interesting. Oh, wow, Tay's getting pretty fast. But if you watch her side of the screen, the next time she takes a hit, she will instantly use a spell card to save herself, unless she doesn't have any like charged up spells to use. But yeah, so the other thing that's important about this game is scope. And scope is the big purple thing that you can see on my screen now. Basically, whenever you go into focus mode, you bring out your character's scope. And every character has a different scope. And some scopes are really good, some scopes are really awful. Marisa's scope is really good, Sakuya's scope is really awful, if I ever show you a replay of Sakuya. I actually haven't beaten normal mode with her yet. But basically what that purple area will do is it will activate spirits, and apparently we're fighting both of the rabbits in this round, because first we fought Tay, now we're fighting Reisen, who's one of the few bosses in this game that, well, I shouldn't say one of the few, but Reisen is not very scary, even when she shows up on Stage 6, which I'll talk about when we get to Stage 6. But, so what the scope does is it activates spirits. Now, there are 2 kinds of enemies in this game. There are fairies, and there are spirits. And they basically, like, destroying them makes bullets show up on your opponent's side of the screen. Wow, I really should not have taken that hit there. That's pretty stupoid, if you ask me. But fairies pretty much die in 1 hit, and then there's, like, this explosion that the enemies have that'll like chain to other enemies, and that's how you get like a high score in this game. I don't really know all of the scoring strats. I do know that you shouldn't be doing what I'm doing in this run, which I'll kind of explain when I finish. Oh god, and we have to explain Lily White. There's so many game mechanics, but hey, this is kind of I guess a good replay to show game mechanics off because it's normal mode. The game's pretty slow. But anyway, so the spirits, they're those kind of like bird-looking things that are flying around. If you destroy those, they'll actually they have a chance of sending an EX attack on your opponent's side of the screen, which is also different for every character. Marisa's is very helpful because they're lasers that show up from the bottom of the screen, and they're really good at trapping the enemy. Just another reason to like Marisa. But spirits they have a lot more health, but if they fly into your scope, they become what's called activated spirits, and when they're activated, they have, I'm pretty sure that's when they become EX attacks. And also, the other thing about activated spirits is that they have a lot less HP, so they die. Wow, Reisen is really hanging on there for a Stage 4 boss. They don't normally last that long in Stage 4. But yeah, so if the activated spirits will also like blow up in a much larger radius, so they're a lot better for like comboing things. So that's another kind of important strategy to playing this game. But Marisa's scope is very helpful because it's basically like her field of attack. It's like straightforward. It does get a little bit like it expands a little bit. Because what happens if you activate a spirit and you don't destroy it, like that one right there, is it'll become 3 shots where the middle one is aimed at your position. And you don't want those coming at you from all kinds of angles, because it'll really, like, it'll clutter up the screen more than the screen needs to be cluttered. Because this game is already kind of a clusterfuck. I mean, like, it's kind of hard to tell on normal difficulty, but, like, since I've been playing on Lunatic lately, it's like, oh my god. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, this is Yomu, who never scares, like, I don't know, she's gotten a lot harder now that I play on Lunatic, but she's still, at this difficulty, not very scary. Now, what just happened there is something that happens to me all the goddamn time. It doesn't actually so much happen anymore because I've learned to avoid it. But enemies in this game have hitboxes themselves, and if you run into the enemies, you'll take damage just like you would from anything else. So that big fairy that showed up right there, her name is Lily White, and she's actually a character from a previous Touhou game. She was the Stage 4 mid-boss of Perfect Cherry Blossom. And in this game, what she'll do is she'll show up randomly and then just jizz bullets all over the screen. And she's really, really annoying. I didn't know when I was recording this that you could kill her. You can actually, like, destroy her if you shoot her enough. And what that'll do is it'll drop a special, It'll drop an item that's like a power-up, and there's a couple different ones. There's a red one that will shower a whole bunch of bullets on your opponent's side of the screen. There's a blue one that is a free level 4 spell attack, which I still haven't gotten around to explaining either. There's a purple one, which gives it throws a whole bunch of EX attacks on your opponent's side of the screen. It's kind of easy to tell what the opponent's EX attacks are. Like for Reimu, they're these big yang-yang orbs that are just kind of bouncing around everywhere and being super annoying. But yeah, like some EX attacks aren't really anything to worry about. Some of them are really obnoxious. Reimu's is pretty obnoxious. Reimu's spell card is also pretty bad, but I just canceled it there, so it's okay. What else was I going to explain? Oh yeah, so the spell card system. This is really important in this game. You have a charged up, you have like this gauge, see like right there it just said gauge filled level 3. Now if you hold down the fire button, you can actually charge it up like I'm doing right now. Now I just released a level 4 spell attack, which is actually not the best strategy for playing this game. That's probably the worst strategy imaginable, actually. Now we're fighting Aya. I should also explain really quickly that stages 6, 7, 8, and 9 are fixed. The same character will fight the same bosses in stage 6, 7, 8, and 9, and but everyone before that is pretty much random. So like sometimes you'll fight Cerno, sometimes you won't, sometimes you'll fight Mystia, sometimes you'll fight Lyrica. It's pretty much random from what I can tell. But like Marisa will always fight Reimu in stage 6, she'll always fight Aya in stage 7, who's the character I'm fighting now. She'll always fight Komachi in stage 8. Everybody fights Shiki in stage 9, so that's pretty much unavoidable. So yeah, the spell card system. That right there, what Aya threw at me was level 2 spell attack, and that's actually what you want to use most. because whenever you use a spell attack, or a charged attack, or whatever you want to call it, you'll clear a whole bunch of bullets from the screen. So the dominant strategy, definitely on Lunatic, is to frequently use level 2 charged attacks to clear the screen as often as possible. Because the gauge can and will recharge, and oftentimes you won't even have to wait that long for it to recharge. Especially if you're playing as Marisa, which is the best reason to play as Marisa, because every character, in addition to having different like movement speeds and focused speeds and scope styles and whatnot, they also have a unique special ability, and Marisa's special ability is that her spell gauge recharges a bit faster than all of the other characters. And like some of the special abilities are very helpful, some of them aren't very helpful, but they vary character to character. Reimu, for instance, has a slightly smaller hitbox than every other character. Wow, I died at Aya on normal mode. I can't remember the last time I've died at Aya on normal mode. Aya is one of the 2 possible Stage 7 bosses you can fight. Unless you're playing as Medicine Melancholy, who's one of the Stage 7 bosses, and I'm pretty sure she fights Yuka on Stage 7, but that's just, ugh. We'll get to that later. But Aya used to scare me a lot, but now I'd much rather fight her than Medicine, because Aya's attacks are just super fast. Medicine is really annoying. She has, like, the most obnoxious EX attack in the game. She basically, like, throws these fields of poison on certain areas of the screen, and what they'll do is they'll slow down your movement. And they also kind of obstruct your vision, so it's really hard to see the bullets if they're, like, in the poison. And sometimes they stack, and it's hard to tell when they've stacked, and when they've stacked, you move, like, even slower, so it's, like, it's really obnoxious. But yeah, as you can see, when it comes to the charge attacks, basically you have one level 2 charged attack, you have a level 3 charged attack, which is slightly more threatening usually than the level 2. Well, I mean, duh. You'd think that something that requires more resources to use would be more threatening. Sometimes it's a lot more threatening, sometimes it isn't. Like, Sakuya has the differential between how scary her level 2 and 3 charged attacks are is absolutely enormous. Whereas, like, with a character like Aya, it's pretty much just aimed regardless. So for her, like, level 2 attack, you just have to sidestep once. Whereas for her level 3 attack, you just need to keep sidestepping to dodge it. Now, the level 4 spell attack is, like, the big spell card thing, which is where the you get, like, a duplicate of the character showing up on your opponent's screen, and then they'll do, like, a whole bunch of random patterns, or at least they seem to be random patterns. I don't know if they, like, are set to do a certain amount of, like, cycles, but from what I tell, it's pretty much random. Komachi, oh my goodness. Komachi is pretty obnoxious. Her EX attacks really clutter up the screen, and when she gets a lot of them going at once, they can be pretty awful, but again, this is nothing compared to Lunatic, so you can just see how bad I was at playing this game back in the day, a few months ago. Now, what you saw there was actually a free spell attack, which happens when you chain a certain number of enemies and you get a certain score. But that's something that I'm not very good at explaining compared to everything else. But like what I could do now, and what I am apparently doing now in the replay, is using my level 4 spell attack to cancel the opponent's level 4 spell attack. Because when you do use a level 4, it'll clear the screen of bullets completely, which sounds like it would be really helpful, but the level 2s are really the way to go. So don't play the way that I'm playing right now. Now, this is a really bad situation here. When Lily shows up during your opponent's spell cards, things can get pretty nasty. Actually, what I've noticed is that it seems like Lily has a significantly lower chance of showing up on Lunatic, or she doesn't show up nearly as frequently on Lunatic as she does on normal. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just because the game takes pity on you for playing Lunatic, because Lunatic is so hard in this game. I don't know, it's just kind of weird. But fortunately, well, I just died. That's actually not very fortunate. But the thing that you'll notice about Komachi's, like, coin spell cards, she's actually supposed to be the, like, not the Grim Reaper, but, like, the ferryman of the dead who carries you across the river to hell. She's, like, this game's equivalent of Charon from Greek mythology. Actually, I don't know if his name is pronounced Charon or Charon, or I don't actually know anything about Greek, because I took Latin in high school, not Greek. But anyway, yeah, so Komachi, like, her coin hitboxes are actually really small relative to their sprite. It's pretty much only the center of them. So, I don't know, Komachi is pretty scary. Both of the Stage 8 bosses are kind of intimidating, but I think Yuka is more fun to fight than Komachi, personally. Just because Komachi is kind of obnoxious. But not very many characters fight Yuka on Stage 8. But when I do show you a replay of a fight that has Yuka in it, you'll see why I like fighting her so much, because it's just like, it's hard to explain that. And that is another thing that I used to do all the time that drives me absolutely fucking insane, is the double hit. Because when you do get hit, your character will kind of drift off to the side by herself, and then you get control of her, and you do have some invincibility frames, but sometimes, and this happened to me when I was very bad at playing this game, I would like drift off to the side, and then during my invincibility frames I would move around, only to have the invincibility frames wear off right on when I was on top of another bullet. So yeah, actually this would be a really good time to explain like the lives and how they work. Your lives are the yin-yang orbs that are in the upper left part of the screen, underneath the spell chain hit thing. That's like, I don't even know what the word for that is. So right now I have 1 extra life. The game starts you with 2 extra lives, so you have a total of 3 lives, basically. And you get another extra life. You get your first one at 10 million, you get another one at 30 million, which I just got from the clear bonus for Stage 8. And then you get another one at 50 million, 70 million, 90 million. I can't remember when you get the next one after that. I've actually never gotten a score above 90 million in this game because I suck. But yeah, so this is Shikiaki, the final boss. She's fucking hard. But fortunately, when you play this game, what you will discover is that if you die during a fight, the next time you play that fight, the fight will be significantly easier. And why the hell did I take a hit there? That was really dumb. So basically, playing this game is stacking resources and then dying against Shiki a whole bunch of times until she's easy enough that you can actually beat her. Usually, I think I've only ever beaten her on my 2nd life once. Usually she kills me twice. I know in this replay she kills me twice. She has all these obnoxious freaking, like, judgment rods. Basically the big, like, the big orange and red things. Because what she's supposed to do is, like, in story, she decides whether or not you, like, go to hell or heaven or you get reincarnated. That was actually some pretty pro dodging right there, not gonna lie. Nothing compared to Lunatic or other dodges that I've done, but for the time it was pretty good. So yeah, Shiki is very scary. And on your first life, you normally have to last, I want to say, like, 5 minutes against her to win, because that's basically how you win. It's a battle against the clock. After a certain amount of time, there's a little variation depending on RNG stuff, but the computer will just kind of die on its own. Like, in the first 5 stages, it's pretty much only a minute unless you get, like, weird RNG. Like, in this replay, for some reason, Reisen, even though she was only a Stage 4 boss, like, took 2 minutes before she died, and I don't know why that is. But then you get to, like, Stage 6, and you have to last, like, 2 minutes or, like, 2.5 minutes. Somebody messaged me on Facebook or something like that because my phone just went off. But yeah, but then if you die, the timer will go down significantly. Which you saw during, like, Stage 7, where you normally have to last, like, 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes to win. So yeah, but if you keep dying, the timer will keep going down. So, I think if you die against Shiki twice, I think you only have to last about 3.5 minutes against her, which is, like, only 3.5 minutes. It's like, God. But she is very scary, but fortunately, as you can see, the bullets also slow down a little bit if you die. So that's also helpful. And you can see that all the fairies and Lily are also, they're all cosplaying as Shiki because this game is horrifying. Fans actually have a different nickname for her. They call her Lily Black. who's actually a separate character in Touhou mod. You can catch Lily White, who's defense-oriented, and you can catch Lily Black, who's attack-oriented, which makes sense. The big threat during fights with Shiki are death walls, which is when her spell card stacks with, like sometimes the big black hole-looking things on my side of the screen will just decide to vomit out all of those, like, all the pink and, not the pink, but like the red and orange rods. Like, just a whole fucking shit ton of them will come out at once. And so a death wall is when that happens, and she has a spell card, and Lily shows up at the same time. And then you're basically fucked if you don't have any charge to, like, save yourself. What else is there to explain? Yeah, I'm about to die pretty soon. Yeah. It's always disheartening to get her down to her last, like, hit, and then die after you've worked so hard to get there. Because the fight with Shiki takes forever. But, yeah, I was like, when I was playing on Lunatic, I got to her, and I only lasted like a minute and 10 seconds against her on the first life, because the bullets are so ridiculously fast, and there are so many of them, and it's like, there's only so much you can do. So that was pretty disheartening. But then I saw somebody who's actually good at playing this game. He's a YouTube user named PrayerChum. He has a whole bunch of Touhou videos, and he's really good at this game. But he has a Lunatic run where he's playing as Reisen, and he died 4 times against Shiki, and he is really good at this game. And I think on his first life he only lasted like, I think 15 seconds longer than I did, so then I felt a little bit better. I can't believe I took a hit there. You can probably understand how nerve-wracking it is, because it's like you make it this far and you're like, oh my god, I'm on my last life, I'm on my last life, there's no way I'm gonna win. But that was a satisfying screen clear right there, when you can get rid of all of Lily's nonsense and cancel an opponent's spell card. But as I mentioned before, you definitely don't want to do that. Now there actually is a way to play as Shiki. Basically, this game has 2 extra modes, and to unlock the extra mode, you have to see every character's ending. And then what'll happen is you get to play the extra mode as Komachi, who is the Stage 8 boss that I just fought. But if you clear the extra mode as Komachi, then you can play the extra mode as Shiki, and that's how you can play as her in story. So that's something kind of noteworthy, I guess. Oh, jeez. Right about now, I was getting real happy because I heard that that little jingle. Basically, when either you or your opponent gets down to 1 hit left, a little chime will sound, and it'll be all like, hey, you're about to die, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, this is the Touhou game that I play the most, and I like it a lot just because it's so random. It really is different every time you play it, so if you want to get good at Touhou, play this game on Lunatic, because the bullets move so fast and everything is so random. There is no better way to improve your reflexes. So, like, just general gaming, I guess, advice is to play this game. If I had a computer that was strong enough to stream, I would stream this game just, like, a lot, because it's a good game to stream. You can, like, check chat in between stages and whatnot. So there, you don't have, like, no interactivity. But it's also, like, you don't have to worry about commentating everything, obviously, because you're focusing. I think what I tried to do there was, like, charge, but I was a little too late with my reflexes. Oh, that's another variable that differs from character to character, is charge speed. Marisa, thankfully, has a very good charge speed. And that's actually the main reason that I don't like playing as Yomu, because her charge speed is just so damn slow. But anyway, so that's it. That was me beating the game on normal mode. The first time I ever beat the game on normal mode. And now I'm trying to beat the game on Lunatic mode. This was actually, these 2 files right there, 1 and 2, are both my Lunatic runs where I made it to Shiki and then died against Shiki. I'll probably show those off in a different video, after I show off all of my normal replays. Basically, it'll just be like 1 replay per character, or until I'm, like, satisfied with other things. But if you look at my normal mode stuff, you can see that I've beaten the game with every character except Sakuya, Yomu, and Yuka. But I haven't really tried as Yuka, to be honest. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. And I'm probably not going to update this very often, it'll maybe be like a once-a-week kind of deal. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.